a Blat Gemara. Today's daf is Daf Tzadik Zayin. We're continuing to talk about Mashiach. This all started a few days ago. We talked about the descendants of David HaMelech, and we're talking now about Mashiach. Talabam we learn 5 lines on the top of the page. Talabam we learn Shvuah. That's Shemitah. Sheben David Bar Mashiach will come. Shana Shana, the first year of that cycle is Meskayim Mikra. The following pasuk will take place, where it says, "Imtarti ali achas ali lachas layamtir." One city will have rain, an abundant supply of food, and one won't. Shniya, the second year, Chitzei Rav Mishtalchen. Second year, there will be a slight famine throughout the world. Shlish, the third year, Rav Godel, major famine. The Mesim Anoshim Anoshim V'tah, people will die out. Chassidim and Shemaisa, all kinds of people, regardless. It doesn't discriminate. And V'toyde Mishtakaches, as a result, people will learn less and less Torah because they're out there seeking food. Milam there from those who learn it. But the is the fourth year of that cycle. Soiva Vena Soiva, things are getting a bit better, and they're starting to get a little bit sated. B'chamish, the fifth year of the cycle, Soiva Godel, an abundant supply of food. V'oichlin, v'shoitzin, v'smeichin, they eat, they drink, they're happy. V'toyde Chazam there. So from here you see clearly that when does Torah prosper, when things are going well? Usually we learn the other way around, that these are the things, the Gemara brachas, that the things that you're koine, which you're suited, one of them is Torah. The only way you really succeed in Torah is with things. And historically, if you look, when the Svarim were written, generally when the Eden were in Tsaras, they wrote the best Svarim while they were running for their spiritual lives. Bishishi, the 6th year, koilis, the 6th year there'll be sounds. What kind of sounds? So Rashi says one thing, there'll be rumors that Mashiach is coming. What do you mean there'll be rumors Mashiach is coming? Who's spreading the rumor? The only one is the Rambam says in Lachim, Yesh Oimrim that Mashiach, that Eliyahu comes before Mashiach. When he says Yesh Oimrim, because others say it's impossible Eliyahu is coming. But others say Eliyahu is coming together in tandem with Mashiach. And here it seems that this that will be koil before Mashiach comes. It's l'chayil. Then that means another pshat. It means literally they'll blow a shofar. Then there's a whole chakir in Achrayim. Shofar means literally there's a shofar going to be blown before Mashiach comes, or it's a figurative speech. B'shvius, and then the 7th year of the cycle is Milchamis. Is the wars. We talk about Gog and Magog, and then between Goyim and Yidden and Mitzvah Shvius on the 8th year Ben David Ba. So 2 years before he comes, there'll be already notices that he's coming, or they're blowing the shofar. Interesting, if you blow a shofar 2 years before to herald the Mashiach eventually is coming. I don't understand. How come Shvi is a habit? So many Shemitah cycles went by. The Mashiach still hasn't arrived. Amar Abaye, 2 things. B'shishis koilis b'shvius v'chamas mehava. These two ingredients. At the 6th year, we had a koilis. And the Shvi is Muhammad, and the 7th year there'll be war. Did that happen? Number 1. 2, it has to be exactly in the order the way we just said over here. And Rashi adds, not only exactly in the order, but Rashi adds b'shavua, as if it has to be the timeline, time capsule has to be exactly the same. This is the year, this is the year, this is the year, not just the sequence of events. Second about it further, the pasuk Hashem that they taunted those, the enemies. They taunt the whole idea of Mashiach, they push it away. Rashi says, I have no idea why this pasuk is there. Interesting Rashi. I don't know. Anyway, but this leads into the sugi of Mashiach, telling you that always naysayers that no, the Mashiach is not coming. The generation Mashiach will come. Beis Havad, the gathering place where the rabbis get together, Yeh will turn into a place of znus, which is hard to understand. In other words, they won't be learning there anymore, and it'll be usually what you can see outside the city, so it's a perfect place for Zionus. But I saw one of the Farshim say the Pshat, the Gemara Aaron says that if you learn a Gemara, you say, this Gemara I like, this Gemara Geshmak, this Gemara is boring, it's like a Bayi Zionus. So he said, it means is Mashiach will come, people no longer will be very selective. They'll only learn the sugyas or the gemaras that they like, and the rest they can dismiss. The Galil will be destroyed, and Hagablon Yasham, and then the Gablon will be faulty. The Gvul will also be faulty. The people from the boundary will continue going around and circulating all the cities. And will have no one's going to give them any appreciation or any thanks whatsoever. Rashi the Gablon is the name of a place, and this place will become destroyed and decimated. And Rashi said, interesting, Anshe Gvul, Rashi gives one shot to the people, the border people, but the other shot Rashi says is Anshe Gvul means the people, the Sanhedrin, because they're the Gozes, they're right there in the perimeter of the base of English, and they're called Anshe Gvul. And they're going to wander about. Nobody's going to appreciate them. The Chochmas HaSeifim Tisach, and the wisdom of these scribes will decay. And V'yorei Chet Yimasu, anybody's a God-fearing person, people will poke fun of them, taunt them, and ridicule them. U'pnei Hadori K'pnei HaKelev. Famous saying in the States as well. That the leaders of the generation will be like leaders of a dog. That so Rashi says they'll be deformed. Not sure exactly what the point of that is. Rashi says the Damien Mamish LeKelev. Kelev also, it says in the Kabbalah, and Kelev is Kulei Lev. And it says, that the mila there is that Kelev L'Shonim, what they really thought is what they expressed. They were honest and integrity. And here it's saying, here they're not going to have Kilshonim, that they're going to walk around thinking one thing in the heart, exactly. The Lev was one thing, yeah, exactly, something else. Yeah, and the Emes. Another place says we had Gemara Shabbos less anya kikalba. There's not a poorer animal out there than a kalb. Another place says that kalbim have chutzpah. So therefore, the Pnei Hador is given a kalb. They're impoverished, ignoramuses, and yet they have the chutzpah to go ahead and make these changes and say all kinds of things. The emes are dead. The truth will disappear. She never says that the emes are dead. The truth will disappear. The sor meira, and those who go away from Ra, mishtoy will be laughed at. My batiyam is that the emes will disappear. That the people become tribal. No longer will be a Klal Yisrael. With this group and that group, and they just disappear. They just disappear. My besor meira mishtayl. Amri Rav Shela said, "Kol misha sor meira." Anybody's a God-fearing person or yorei shemayim mishtayl brias, be laughed at and mocked by the people for being too religious. Amar Rav Rava. But first I thought, like a Kustabam, I thought there's no such thing as a city of truth. Who's true? Rabbi told me, but after Tavishmoy, Amla said, others say, Rav is relating the following story, what it means to be truth. Rav thought that nobody can be true, to really honest and to say exactly what you think and so on. He said, he once told me, professed, that if you give me all the money in the world, I would never change my words. It happened once. There's a town called Kushta. That means this is a child of truth. Nobody there slaughtered their words. Nobody there died prematurely, before their time. The Sivi eats this, so he was so excited. So he was pursuing the truth. So he married a woman there, had 2 children from her. One day, one day the wife was sitting there, and she was shampooing her head. Came along a neighbor, turned for Adosha, knocked on the door. And he thought it's not sneers to tell this other person that his wife is a woman, that his wife is in the shower. He said, listen, he said to this woman, my wife isn't home. How many times have we done that? Both of his sons died right away as a punishment. Also, you should ask the Kameh, everyone came to him. Nobody ever died prematurely. What happened? Tell us the truth. He told him exactly what happened. Do us a favor. Get out of our town. You don't want to schlep in mothers into the city. You thought you're looking for the truth. The real story is not about the town, but it's about Rav Tuvia, that you delude yourself sometimes. Rabbi Okan used to tell us a story. The guy was going around pursuing the truth, and he traveled, and finally one day they told him to some old man in the forest that he knows that the power of truth. So he finally found the guy, and the guy says, "I'll take you." He takes him to this big auditorium somewhere, subterranean auditorium, and he sees the place is full of tables and yard tzedlich. That's all it is. He said, "What's this?" He said, "Well, every glass here represents another person." And this is the city of truth, because you'll have some very large glasses, so externally they look strong and healthy, but you look around, the oil is practically petering out. They're about to die. And on the other hand, you have sometimes short glasses, short stock glasses, but it's filled with oil. Plenty of, vigor and energy left. That's the city of truth. And this tells you how many years you have left to live. Because it's petering out. Anyway, the old man walked out. He started looking around and he found his city and finally his glass. And he saw his glasses very large, and a drop of oil left. So he looked around, everybody else's glasses were full. He said, what's the big deal? I'll take a little bit over here, a little bit over there, fill that glass. And then the old man caught his hand and said, So you're always looking for the city of the truth. First become truthful yourself. The generation that Mashiach will come, it says in the Pasuk, what's going to happen then? The Odim Yalbinu the young will embarrass, shame the old. It's getting out of the Odim, and the old will be scared of the young, and they'll stand up for them. And the daughter is going to stand up for their mother, and a daughter-in-law against the mother-in-law, and the generations will be. So, the young are basically going to embarrass the old. So the bas will embarrass the mother, the kala will embarrass, will embarrass the mother-in-law, the ein habem is by his father, and children will never be embarrassed from their father. I thought we really reached this level in spades. Tanya the generation that comes, houses tarbid, will be a lot of chutzpah, the hayoker yavis, and then those who should be precious will all be krum. Nobody's going to be chabed, nobody will show any respect to these anybody else. Or hayoker yavis, those who are crooked, those who are mechubed, people give cover to, they themselves are all corrupt. And Bahagefi is the period, the grapes will give its wine, or Bavayim will still be very expensive. Why? As Rashi says in one shot, because everyone's going to drink wine, pursue wine, and be all liberated and create a big demand. The entire country will turn into a person. The ain tachacha, and there's no one there to reprimand them. This all supports Rabbi Yishchel. Rabbi Yishchel says, "Amen." To happen, minutes. Mashiach is coming only when everybody turns bad. Why is that? I want to make her kuli hapach love Torah by nega tzaras. If the entire body becomes full of tzaras, he walks out tired. So it's easier to have everyone to show him. This Kulender Rebbe used to say, Shvaner is living Heinz, and he used to come to all for Brangens. And he sat there and he said, I and the Rebbe, he said, I with my Streimel and the Rebbe was a Schnitzel, I'm going to make sure that this Gemara will never be fulfilled. The cooling minutes. So we learned that when Hashem will judge the people to bring the gul, the hand is sort of disappearing. The efes there's nobody there to protect them. What do you mean? What do you mean ozl yad? That the hand for informers is free, and everybody masses and everybody to the government, to the tax department, and they go away scot free. Ozl yad means that the talmidim, the serious talmidim, will get less and less and less. And that's interesting. The role of these talmidim is to keep the Yidden from. The role of the talmidim is that they're the ones that give chizuk to the Yidden, and they're going to be missing. A case which you heard before in sites as well, that inflation will and there's no money left. In fact, there's a whole debate now that the President Trump has canceled the American penny. Is that yichla prutum in a kiss? The we learned until the abandon hope of the covering ghoulish number. It says the F is also nobody's protecting us. Nobody to support Eden. When the people reach such a low point, maybe that's when Mashiach will come. The Ma'askebe, when he found that the Rabbanim were trying to help him out, and they were asking him, when is the Mashiach coming? When is the Mashiach coming? Do me a favor, I have a little favor for you. By you asking all of these ketzim, you're pushing Mashiach away. The time we learn three things come without realizing when it's coming. Elohein, Mashiach, Metzia, and Akrav. And a Metzia, you have no idea when it's coming, but that's a good thing. Akrav, you don't know when it's about to bounce on you, and it's a bad thing. And Mashiach can come, Bismana, Be'ita, can come, Ba'achishena, and like both things. It could be like a Metzia, it could be like an Akrav. We're going to say, we had this nation as well. Sheet, Alfish, Ni, Havi, Alma, the world will be 6,000 years, and then for 1 year, 1,000 years of life follows. It says, when Hashem will be alone on that day. How long is the day for? 2,000 years will be fallow. We read before that it will be like birds. But the Zeruchni is, it says, 2 days, live, the third day he'll reappear. Tanya was it? Every 7 years you have 1 year. Everything lies fallow. So to this world, every 6,000 years will exist. And so this word comes from 6,000 years. The Rambam doesn't bring it, so they want to say that the Rambam actually argues. Because all the Rishonim say there's nobody argues. Everyone agrees 6,000 years. Shit al v'shnei v'alma. The Shaili is chad chruv v'treichu, and the Gemara says to support of tin chad chruv. Shnei says this goes on about the bayim bahu on that day. Bayim means mashil yem b'Shabbos yem shikol Shabbos. It'll be 1 yom, 1,000 years, 1 millennia. That will be like Shabbos. Bayim mekiel shal menachik yem ashmal again says 1,000 years like a day. Ki yav past. Sorry, oh sheish lo shon havalma. Shnei I'm tell you 2,000 years. Tell you the first 2,000 years was chaos. Avram. The end of 2,000 years is 52 years old. And that's when Torah begins. Avram was either 3 years old when he recognized the bird, or 48 years old, not 52. But Rashi says 50. What happened at 52? That's when he started to make gay. Comes out an impelling thing. What's considered the beginning of Shnei Torah? Not when you learn Torah, when you start teaching Torah to others. That's the beginning of Torah. Rashi clearly says what happened then. That that's when he started to make a gate and so on and so forth. 52 already. Yeah. Then the Gemara right. That's when it starts. And nefesh asher osu b'chorin is when it starts the cheshbon, when you start teaching to others. You told the Gemara. Shnei Alavim, Shnei Alavim Torah, then 2,000 years of Torah. It doesn't mean it stopped after 2,000 years, but that was the main Avodah. Shnei Alavim Mashiach, the next 2,000 years is called the days of Mashiach. Because of our Avodah, Sherabu, that's so increased, Yotzim Mehem Mashiach. We're already in the Mashiach, and Mashiach hasn't come yet. The minimum time that the world is going to exist is 85 Yevlus, which multiply that by 50 is 4,250 years. And the last Yevel means the year 4,250 Mashiach should have come. It's after the Churban, so Beis Hamikdash and so on. The Churban Beis Hamikdash was 172 years before the fourth millennia, before the fifth millennia. Before the 172 years before you made the Mashiach. But this is now 250 years after that, so this is like 420 something years. It comes at the beginning of that Yovel, the end. I need that, I don't know. Kola ain't a kola. Will the entire Yovel end first, then happen? I don't know. Now, this is very difficult to understand. Question number 2. Once you said he's coming in the middle, I don't know, the beginning or the middle, what do you ask you if the whole thing will pass by? You just said, so there's different gisoyis in the Gemara how to fix this up. But Rashi learns exactly where we have it. Rashi Amar, this is what he said. Ad he said, until this year, don't bother thinking about Mashiach is not coming. And this line of here, Rashi, we're supposed to be a chakalei b'chol yom shiyavai. So what do you mean? What happens? And Yaakov wanted to tell the brother because Yaakov gals the cats back then. Yeah, and what happened to the Emunah? I mean, the mitzvah of Emunah of Mashiach only starts 4,250 years. Before then, there's no point in believing, because, or you believe he'll come, this year, 4,250 years. My father, person of Yodim, they had a scroll. Written in the alphabet of Ashur, Lashon Kodesh. Now we know the only people who spoke in Lashon Kodesh were Yidden, so obviously it's reliable. Amarti Loi, Zuminayin Loch. It used to be that when people wanted to get married, the Rav would just ask them if they speak Yiddish, and that was enough of a sign that they were Yidden. Because like it says here, who else writes Ashur in Lashon Kodesh? I said to him, Zoom, and how do you know this? I was hired by the army of Rome. I found a bunch of treasures of Rome. I found because it said the world is going to end after 2,000, but a bit more, and 90 years. 4,290 years, not 4,250 years. Yitin mehen mechames, it'll end the mechames of taninim, mechames of the fish, mechames goyga mogog, this is Shabbat, the rest maybe the fish. Vashar Yemais Mashiach, and the rest of Moshe Mashiach. We always talk about the Shabbat and the Yason, the big axe and the Yason. There's another man who said there was also a bird involved as well. It's 3. Vashar Yemais Mashiach. The rest will be called Moshe Mashiach. And then the world will come to an end and it will restart after 7,000 years. 5,000 years. So in the Medrash Rabbah, at the beginning, the whole machlekes that this is the second world or the seventh world. So one opinion says that he made a world, wasn't very happy and destroyed it, made this world. The other opinion says, no, the sixth world, he wasn't happy, destroyed it, and this is the seventh world. And it sounds from the Medrash there, literally, there were people there and everything happened. And some people want to say that's where the fossils come from, the previous world, not just pre-Noach. But Arizal says that the first world is Olam HaToyu, and this world is Olam HaTikun, and it was all Ruchnis. So according to Arizal, everything we're saying over here about beyond is also all Ruchnis. This pasuk goes down, pierces all the way down to the time. It's endless. Interesting expression. It's this pasuk is endless. What do you mean pasuk is endless? It says the pasuk it'll take a time for that will be a time when you're going to say when the case will be, and there won't be a lie. And if Mashiach delays himself, continue waiting. Mashiach is definitely coming. He will not delay a minute longer than he has to. Now he goes through a number of people who try to calculate when Mashiach is coming. Not like these Lebbes who are darshaning. It says a pasuk that Adam, and a lot of these drashas come from Daniel. He says that Ad is a time. So he said there's a time. Which is the time? Ad Eden, the time. So time is generally a period. The Eden World time is 400 years. That's a true paradigm that we have in the Torah of a time period, a time capsule, 400 years. Eden is Ad Eden, the time. Eden is double time, so that's another 400 years by 2, 800. So you have 1,200 years. Upalagidon, and a half of a time, which is 200 years. So you have a total of 1,400 years. This is what the Pasuk Daniel says. So they made a whole cheshbon that Mashiach is coming 1,400 years. The only thing is Rashi doesn't say, and I couldn't find, starting from which date? 1,400 years from when? Churban by Zishin, from the Eden went to Tzro. What exactly is Churban by Sheni? Not clear. But like Rab Simloi, not like Simloi, he dashed, Vachaltem Lechem, Dima, he gave them to eat bread with tears, Vatashkem, with my sholish, and he gave them to drink with my shlish, and this was a third. So the Abish between, so you have Golos Mitzrayim, which is 400 years, plus a second Golos, which is Golos Bubble 70, so that's 470, and that's a third. So 470 times 3 is 1,410 years. So it's not 1,400 years, but 1,410 years when Moshe will kick in. But it didn't happen either. Again, we don't know when the 1,410 years begin, when he's counting machines. All Rashi says is, what he's saying is that time already elapsed and it didn't happen. When did it elapse, we don't know. Only a little bit longer, but he is a shemayim, and I'll make all kinds of noise. This is a Chagai saying. A little further, we're going to rebuild the base of Mikdash after Golet Bubble, and I'm going to bring over there, all the great things of Shalim. And Rabbi Kiva saying he's talking about Mashiach. So what is it then? So all of these are wrong. It didn't happen. Those according to Rabbi Kiva, Mashiach should have come. In fact, Rabbi Kiva believed that Ben Kuziba was Mashiach, and maybe partly because he believed that after the second base Mikdash, after the second base Mikdash comes Mashiach. So he said, right. So he said, the first Malchus was Shivim Shana. The first Malchus was 70 years. Malchus Chamishim Stein. There was a reign that the Eden had. 70 years is Chashmonayim, 52 years is Hurdus, even though the Chashmonayim was more than 103 years, and Hurdus was also longer, also 100 years. But not all of them were good years, where the Eden were in control. And the Kuziba, after the base of Mikdash, 50 years after the base of Mikdash was destroyed, he was a king for 2.5 years. And that's the only freedom we had. Is my vayifach leketz leichad. What do you mean they'll talk about the end of years? Leichad, that won't be lying. And tipeyach, this is what the word is. Not that they're going to say the kates. Tipeyach atzmon. They should swell those bones from the chashri kitchen. But those who are mechashri kitchen are making things worse. So they said people stop believing it. In the year Tav Reish Chaf, the people thought in Poland that Mashiach is coming here. People shut the stores down, sold their businesses, and were packing up, ready to go. So there's a big Rebbe called Udi Mistrelisk, and he got up on a Shoshana and he says, "I'm telling you, Mashiach is not coming this year." and then she didn't come. And the Ela was so angry with him. And the Kabbalim said, "What do you do?" So he said, "Look, if Mashiach comes and I'm wrong, who's going to remember who the Strelach said Mashiach is not coming? They'll be happy. But if I'm right, they'll blame it on me, not on the not. Otherwise, they'll have a rifin and a muna, like it says here. They stop believing and say, "Oh, Kiva Shegis Ches Leba, Shuvay Leba Chas V'Shalom." Tafresh Ches was a ketz, and then that's when the Likud Torah was printed. Tav Shin Ches was a. I remember Tav Shin Lamed Vov, the Kamarna said, "Burn all my svardim if Mashiach doesn't come." The Rambam writes a whole letter. You're not allowed to make ketzim. At the very end of the very same letter, he gives a ketz as well. I gave a ketz like Barbanel, the Malbim explains this, and sort of, and soon come another 50 years, to hold people in line. So it says, if we delay, wait for him, Shema Tamer on him, Machakahu and Machaki thing, we're waiting at that Mashiach, Tamalema, Lochain, Yichaka, Hashem, Lechanankem. David is waiting for you to want Lochain, Yodrim, Lerachmechem. And therefore he's elevating the Rachmanis. David is also waiting for it. So Mima Akiv, the Abishter wants Mashiach to come. We want Mashiach to come. So why isn't he here? Mida Sadim Akiv was Urshavisa that the Yetzirah is holding it back. Mima Akiv Sadim Akiv, but only Mechakin. So what are we waiting for? The Kabbal's Chak. Just waiting alone. Just waiting alone is a mitzvah. The Rambam says one of the 13 columns you have to believe. On Imamish. It says Asher Kol Chaykiloi. Praiseworthy, all those who just praising and worthing and are waiting for Mashiach to come. Amar Abaya, look at the word loy. Loy pachas alma betlosin v'shisa tzadika the mekabe apeshchina b'choldora. Minimum of 36 tzadikim that receive the Eibusha every generation. Interesting. A few days ago we learned to 45, and we learned that in Marchulin, 30 nights of Yisrael and 15 Chutz La'aretz, and sometimes 20 Chutz La'aretz in Yisrael. But here Abaya says 36. This is always say the Lama Vav tzadikim in the Starim. So they have those 36 tzadikim in every generation. So it says Asher Kol Chayke Loy. Loy is 36. Loy Bigamata plus him shit 36. Come on, ain't not so. Vamarava Dorda coming to Brichu Tam Nesrei Alfred Parsa have that there's so many more. That there's 18,000. Oshama says Sabi Shmoin Esel. That surrounding him has 18,000. He's talking about the perimeter of Yerushalayim, but he's saying also talking about the tzaddikim. Rashi actually says talking about this Yerushalayim Shel Maila. Like Kasha, how do Mistakla be Paspaklaria Mira? If you ever said about Mitzvah Maimer, you remember the Paspaklaria Hamira. Here's the Paspaklaria and Hob, the Mistakla be Paspaklaria She'eni Mira. Here you have a faglesioning glass, a magnifying glass, or yeah, exactly. So if you see the Paspaklaria Hamira, then you see much clearer, and that's much very very few 36. The Paspaklaria She'eni Mira was not so clear. There you have 36,000, 18,000. Second one, mean Portugal high, even so 18,000, that many. And so on, and you're saying, that 36 who actually see that many, but we know that I saw that these great people, these are the people of Taklari Amida, and they're very few. If the thousands be my son, mayhem and Yibonahem is like 100, if 9 or 2 on Yibonahem, like Kasha. If they have to knock on the door, that's 36. If they can just walk in, that's 2 or 1. It's all gone. Only tshuva. Well, Ma'asim Tovim. There's no more catch anymore. We just got to do tshuva. Shmuel Amar Daya La'obel Shiyam Aveh. No, you have to do tshuva. Aveh is for 7 days and it's over. It catches over. Mashiach has to come. So machlek is you need to do tshuva not ketanoid. But let's say you saw the tshuva when you go, tshuva will be nigel. And if not, ain't nigol. They won't be redeemed. If they don't do tshuva, they don't get redeemed. And he will put a king up there that his decrees are as difficult as Haman. Which means Yeshua says, and Rabbi Lezer says, the gene of do tshuva on their own. Rabbi Yeshua says, yes, there'll be a little bit of tshuva, and it doesn't matter if it's foisted upon them. Some of these hashas came back, and now they're all inspired, and people hear about it, they're inspired. I was just now in Los Angeles, and my friend that lived there tells me that he has a number of girls who came in to become gated, Mam's gated tzedek, and only after October 7th. And they felt that they have to side with the Yidden. So, Yidden is like Haman to get the people to inspire them. And we'll learn more about it tomorrow in Mitzvah.